Welcome to the Divine Style Podcast with Gerlinda, Stella, personal stylist and self-love coach, and Alison, Maiden, psychic medium, spiritual healer and metaphysical teacher. Each episode you'll experience spiritual lessons to cultivate self-love and self-expression so you can become the best version of you.
Hi, I'm Gerlinda.
And I'm Alison.
Today we have a very special guest joining us. We have Amber Robertson, who is a makeup artist, Reiki healer. So what else does she do, Alison?
She's a wonderful spiritual teacher, and she is a psychic, and she reads for people, and she's just an all-round spectacular woman. Hi, Amber.
Hello.
Today we are going to be talking all about how beauty meets spirituality. I think often people get the impression that if you're spiritual, maybe it's egotistical to care about how you look. However, we all have a very different opinion on this. I think we all believe that beauty is something that can be expressed as part of who you are and your soul.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been doing makeup for 13 years and energy healing and psychic reading for 7 years, and it's been absolutely intriguing to watch people disregard who I am as a person, because as a psychic and a reader, when they find out the other work I do and how involved I am, but it's so heavily connected, the way we perceive ourselves and the way we love ourselves, it's in one hand, makeup and beauty and then spirituality, it's all connected.
And I think too, I mean, you definitely bring out the goddess in people. I can say that firsthand because you've done my makeup many, many times over the years. But to feel good about yourself is the first step to self-love.
Absolutely, yeah.
And when we are talking about self-worth and self-love, I think it's so important to acknowledge that just because you're spiritual doesn't mean you have to be, shall we say, a bit of a hippie or free love.
It's true. It's I meet so many women that won't so spiritual and think that touching makeup is almost like a disservice to their spirituality. And I'm like, so how do you feel about your physical self? Nah, don't like it, hate it, don't like it. Oh, okay, well, we physically need to deal with that here in this this body. You need to learn how to love that. And sometimes it's applying a lipstick or putting a mascara on is what's going to help you look in the mirror and go, I look really good today. It
can make a huge difference. I
Absolutely.
think, especially at about 3:00 in the afternoon when you're feeling a little bit tired, having that little bit of makeup on. I'm trying to think of the word. Why can't I think of it? Tinted moisturizer.
That stuff is life.
What I've really found fascinating is that you have blended things so brilliantly, and we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
And I've really noticed you blossom over the years as not only a wonderful psychic, and you genuinely are a great psychic. You had a really good teacher, I believe.
I did. I looked for her for a very long time and I found her.
But it's just been so wonderful to see you, do the things that you love. And I think that a lot of people these days are so conflicted about this because it's got to be one thing or the other.
Yeah, before I met you, that's why I really liked you as a teacher. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I went through trying to find so many teachers or someone to help me. I wasn't even looking for a teacher. I just needed help for my own stuff, my own healing. And everyone was pushing away my makeup artistry. And I'm like, this is my life. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to stop making people love themselves, because I had already seen the profound effects that makeup did. And I just couldn't, until I found, you and Nick Whitty, I was like, oh my God, these women aren't making me feel belittled for what I love. In fact, you just encouraged it constantly just to do what I wanted, and I did, and I loved it.
And you're so successful at it.
Thank you.
So really, I suppose what we're getting to is that you do have sometimes two sides to a personality, and both of those things should be acknowledged.
Absolutely.
And in fact, we can blend things quite easily if we allow ourselves and don't let other people dictate to us what's right or wrong. And I think, with my life, as you know, I've been lots of different things. So I've been a music teacher. That was a part of my creative nature, and I love music, and I still do. I've been a paramedic, and that science part of me was really, really strong. And I'm a psychic medium, and I've always been a psychic medium, even though I was those other things. You know, it made my paramedic life very interesting, particularly when I was seeing people sitting on the bed and their body was on the floor, and they're like, "We're not getting back in, no matter what you do." But it's so good to be able to express yourself through different mediums. One of the other things that really interests me about the makeup world, Amber, is that there seems to be a lot of talk about cruelty and within the products. And I know you're a vegan yourself. So can you tell us a little bit more about those sorts of products? And
I mean, this is a big conversation, and the cruelty is heavy in the sense of, like, you know, not just animals, but a lot of makeup is actually mined in India by children. In fact, most brands in the world are doing that, and it's not really a talked subject. If anything, it's only just come out recently. Rihanna's beauty brand, you know, Rihanna the singer, finally it's like, she's using child slavery. It's like, well, Estee Lauder, all these places have been doing that since day dot, but it just seems to be pulling up. But when I first started my career 13 years ago, I remember rocking up to makeup school and I told them, I don't want to touch any of your products. I know they're professional, but they're, you know, used on animals and they're suffering. And they're like, well, you'll never have a career, sorry. And I'm like, okay. So I rolled with it and I just went, you know what, I will find brands that are only testing on humans and not animals, because we don't need to. We don't need this unethicness, I guess, but it's all through the industry. But it's much better nowadays. There's so many brands that do have, that are only, I guess, vegan and not testing on animals, but we do have a long way to go with this sort of stuff.
That's incredible. I didn't know about the
children. It's horrific. I want to talk about animal cruelty, but it's the children's slavery that affects and I really, I talk to you about wanting to bring out my makeup brands, and it's because when I do bring it up, I want people to know that it's not mined with children mining the mica, and people don't know that conversation. And when I started I brought a makeup brand to Adelaide where I used to live. I used to fly to Sydney and beg this company, please open up, or please give me a job, I'll just do anything. And when it came to Adelaide, no one cared about whether it was being tested on animals or not. But that was the main way I would pull people in, would have don't test on animals, and I'd be like, hey, look, we don't test on animals, and people just did not care whether it was or not. But it's slowly, after the conversation started rolling, it's more the younger generation were like, oh wow, we really, really care. So it's really influenced, I guess the younger generation really influenced I guess the trends that are happening. But I really would love to see it happen with the fact that a lot of makeup is mined by children and coming from that sort of space too. So I really hope it does move in that.
How would someone discover if something is ethical or not? Is it sort of, do you research before you even buy the brand?
You know what? I don't even think brands themselves care or know whether they're ethical or not. I don't think they're really thinking so the way they look at it is you can buy mica in so many different places around the world, but they'll just go for what, the ingredients of their products. What's the cheapest? Oh, it's this one. How's it being sourced? Who cares? It's the cheapest. It's going to make us, this costs 30 cents to make. We're going to make $110 from this product. So who cares where it comes from? And, if you went on to the MAC website or other brands like that, they will say that they're not testing on it, but they also using children to mine their product, like mica or ingredients. But it's so aloof. It's so they can't really give stern answers, and you can never find it. I've emailed, I've done so many things over my career to try and get answers. Nah.
So are there some particular brands that you do favour, and what would they be?
Yeah, I really like Hourglass. I like Mecca Cosmetica, but again, there's a lot of brands in there that Mecca, I don't know if you know what Mecca is, but there's a lot of brands in there that aren't too ethical, but there's some really good ones too. So Hourglass is a really good one. There's a lot of indie brands that are coming up across the world that are incredible, that do awesome eyeshadows like Chaos Makeup. I really like the brand I used to work for, Illamasqua. Their ethics are really incredible. Wow, there's so many. What else do I like? Bare Minerals is a really good company. There's
They're some of the main ones.
Yeah, they're probably my main in my kit as well.
I guess because we want to remember this stuff's absorbed into our skin
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
I
Yes.
mean, and when we read about the litres of
Yeah.
makeup and lipstick, I mean, we eat a lot of
Yeah.
it. So making sure that it is sort of, not tested on animals, that the products that are, that are inside it are
Yeah.
actually safe.
Yeah. And that it's not really, like, there's a lot of unsafetiness in makeup, which is a bit sad.
I was horrified to know what was in red lipstick
Yeah.
because I love wearing red lipstick.
Yeah.
And there's lead
Yeah.
and quite a few other toxic things in there. So
Geez, we haven't moved on from Egyptian days by the sounds
No.
of it. They use all the poison on their faces.
A lot of old school makeup artists, the ones that have been around for 20 years, they're very aware. It's kind of like they know. It's kind of, they always say, like, the people who are making these products are always also making the antidote. So, you're buying a lipstick, but also they're selling a lip cream that's anti-aging. Do you get what I'm saying? And so, like, they're very aware that their lipsticks are aging people. And
Now, that's something I didn't know.
Yeah, so,
Really?
Yeah, so it's kind of like, a lot of beauty products, even though they work topically instantly and stuff like that, it's so toxic in the long run. And heavy metals and the things that are in makeup are what ages us so quickly when they build up in our liver, our brain, our kidneys. You can look, really young 1 year, and then the next year you don't even realize, but it all catches up to you. And I do notice that in the makeup industry. Just, I guess I've done so many people's makeup for so long, and I noticed the shift in their bodies, their faces over using toxic products, and the smart ones get out and start using less toxic products. But yeah, it's a scary industry.
No, well, it's the stuff you don't even think about,
Yeah.
because it's not in front of us. It's not advertised, of course, and unless you actually know about these things and there's some knowledge behind it, which you've got obviously vast knowledge on it. And I certainly learnt something today about the children. I'll be triple checking that one.
I don't know. I wish there was even a little thing on it that said not, use children, but you don't even get that. You can't find it. It's like,
Well, they don't want to advertise it, do
Yeah,
they?
absolutely.
That's the big thing. So when you're doing someone's makeup, and say it's someone that's come to you and it's maybe the first time they've ever had a professional makeup job done, are there any stories you can sort of share with us about how people have felt inside or how they've been transformed by just looking beautiful?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had so many people, even like models that have had their makeup done, and it's just an incredible experience being able to make people see themselves the way I see them. And I think that's the one thing I get told a lot. They're like, "Oh my God, is this how you see me?" And I'm like, "Yeah." But I have this one story that really sticks out in my head. I had this girl. She had really severe body dysmorphia, and she found me on the cosmetic floor. I remember her, this is when I worked for a brand called Ilamaska. She saw me and she eyed me off and she like T-lined me. And she was like, "You can deal with me." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "You'll be able to deal with my personality." And I'm like, "I have major issues, but I need my makeup done for my formal." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I can book you in. I can do your makeup. I can deal with issues. Cool, sounds great." And yeah, she couldn't even look in the mirror without screaming and crying. So to do her makeup was a really bizarre experience because she couldn't give me any feedback because looking at herself was terrifying for her. And I understand that in a way because I've experienced body dysmorphia before too. So I was like, it was really strange dealing with her, but at the end she was absolutely in love with what she saw, and it was just incredible because the whole girl was crying and screaming and trying to wipe it off the whole time until the end. But yeah, it's incredible too.
Wow, that must have been a hell of a challenge for you.
Yeah,
And she was able to look at herself in the mirror.
Yeah, it was still hard. Like I could still see she was like, "I really like it, and this is the best I've ever looked." Yep. Yeah, I wish you could see my face right now because I'm like closing my eyes and pulling away. But that's basically what she would do. But it was really transformative. And she would come and see me. She never wanted to wear makeup again because she was like, "This isn't for me, but I needed it today." But yeah, she would come and see me after that and just thank me constantly, and would just have chats about her mental health. And I think she's getting much better.
I would really like to do past life healing on her.
Yeah,
Like, the
it's
first thing I can think
intriguing.
of
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
It's definitely from a past life that that's come through. So, yeah, and with your psychic ability as well, I'm sure that you'd be able to, you know, pick up on people's needs. And I know you're incredibly intuitive. Each time I've watched you, you know, transform the people that I've sent to you, and we've worked together on different things and you know, television and whatnot, and you've just done an amazing job. But I love the fact that that when you're doing the makeup, you actually are counselling people.
Yeah, I am a counsellor, and that's what taught me how to be a healer. It's what made me realise doing makeup, because like I said, I've been doing makeup for 13 years, and it was going home every day, feeling everyone's emotions. I didn't acknowledge that. I had no idea I was picking up on everyone's stuff, but it was insane how much I just was like I didn't know how to separate my mind from theirs, so I was just like overwhelmed by people's stuff. But everyone loved getting their makeup done by Amber. I was always completely booked out, and all my, you know, managers throughout all my career were always like, we don't know, like, yes, you're really good, but we just don't really understand why people are so obsessed with you. And then and it wasn't the fact that I was making them feel so beautiful, it was the fact that I was, one, probably back then taking on their negative energy, but now that I'm more mature in my energy healing, I'm able to get them to shift out of their negative way they're seeing themselves, and also not take on their negative energy, but help people. Because a lot of the time when people come and get their makeup done, they're going to a big event or they're doing something big for the night, so normally they rock up with so much anxiety over the fact that they're going to a big room with lots of people and stuff like that. So it is just a counseling session. It's absolutely weird. And I would see people on a regular, whether it was weekly or monthly or every few months, and I just learned to remember everything accidentally and you just pick up conversations, and so many people at the end would be like, wow, you've helped me so much, and this isn't to do with my makeup, this is to do with the fact that we're able to talk and chat, and it's really beautiful.
No, that's fantastic. And I think too, Gerlinda and I have spoken before about how when you look in the mirror and feeling good about yourself, the clothes that you're wearing, and it doesn't matter, you know, what shape you are, what age you are.
Absolutely.
It's just a really big part of self-love and self-worth. And that's what we're all about on our podcast, you know, really encouraging people to take that little bit extra step in the mornings, you know, maybe just to make themselves feel better. You
Absolutely. I've always said this to people, like in the morning, it's the time when we're programming ourselves for the day. And if anything, if you want to wear makeup, you sit in the mirror for 10 to an hour is the average, you know.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, most girls my age will be like, if they're into makeup, it takes girls about an hour to do their makeup.
Wow.
And most people's self-talk is horrific. You know, not many people can look in the mirror without being like, oh my God, I'm so ugly, I'm this, I'm that. So to me, makeup is the ultimate beautiful ritual, but we have to see it as a ritual in the morning. You know, when I go sit down and do my makeup, it's like, all right, I need to make sure I have a clear mind. Every time I look at myself, I love myself unconditionally, and I'm putting makeup, and I choose colors that reflect the way I want to feel that day. So you probably have known me since you've met me. Sometimes I look normal, sometimes I have colors and glitter all over my face, and it's just because I feel that will help me through the day. It's like I can feel it, you know, and it's just a color that will brighten up my, you know, something. And also the way I talk to myself when I'm doing my makeup, I don't need to do it so much anymore, but when I really recognize that talking the way we talk to ourselves really does program our brain in a positive or a negative way, I realized how important it was to give myself love while I'm doing my makeup. So make sure I'm like, oh my God, those cheekbones, these lips, they're beautiful. And it's just, great. And by the end of it, you've pep talked yourself for 20 minutes.
Like, you've got this, girl.
Literally.
You're amazing.
And by the time you put your clothes on, I'm just like, oh my God, am I like egotistical or what? Because I love myself so much. And it's not like, I'm not like, oh, I'm just the best looking person in the world. It's like, no, I feel beautiful because I've just talked to myself about that for, you know, 20 minutes or so. And it makes my morning every morning. And I've made so many, like my good friend Jess is a good example. She was so anti-makeup, not even anti, she just didn't need to wear it. But recently I've known her for 10 years. Recently she started wearing makeup the last year, and it just changes her mood when she's wearing a beautiful little wing eyeliner and a little bit of foundation. Like, it just lifts up your spirits really, and yeah, you look glowing and you're pretty and you feel pretty, and it can just make you feel happy for the day. And that's really important.
And how would someone start to, maybe if they haven't worn a lot of makeup, or I mean there's lots of YouTube videos and things like that.
Yes.
So if they are a little bit nervous,
Yep.
because often people aren't taught this from
No,
a young age.
not
So
at
the
all.
amount of people that kind of maybe get stuck in a different decade as well, I've seen.
Absolutely. That's my favorite thing. I love doing first timers and also stuck in the decade makeup artists. So when in that sort of instance, I would say reach out to like a counter, or there's, you know, similar to your stylist, there's makeup artists that will do lessons with you, so hour lessons or 2-hour lessons, and learn how to get a professional artist to teach you about your features, because it's things we don't notice. Like as someone, I guess if you're not a professional, you're not looking at the fact you have great cheekbones or lips. And the amount of people I have done on their makeup and I give them compliments about certain features, and I won't lie, I honestly give them compliments of things I think are incredible, and they're like, I have never thought about that in my life, like it's never registered. And I'm like, well, you should think about these things. You should really enjoy the fact that you have a really cool chiseled jaw or a beautiful nose and stuff like that. So sometimes you need other people's perspective to see your beauty, and I think that's really important, and a great thing about getting your makeup done by different people as well.
And so good for the stuck in the decade people too.
Yes, yeah. And I don't even think makeup to me isn't about trends. I don't care about being trendy. It's sometimes the fact that, makeup, it's evolving, and there's, you know, lighter weight products you can use that aren't as heavy, that just make you feel glowy without feeling like you're wearing a lot of makeup. So I don't feel like you need to wear a lot of makeup to change your whole mood. Sometimes it's just a bit of tinted moisturizer, or a little bit of a gloss, or a glittery gloss, or some glitter on your eyes with a bit of mascara that can really shift things. You don't have to be a professional per se to make you feel really good about yourself.
Absolutely, that's really great tips for people. And I think too, you know, if we're feeling in a bit of a rut, and just lately, I mean, poor people stuck at home, you know.
I know.
I mean, we're pretty lucky where we are, but there's been other places that have been in lockdown for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I think about those people, and our heart goes out to you guys, and we're thinking about you all. But here's a tip: get some makeup on. You know,
absolutely.
do some experimentation while you're there. We want to see pictures.
Yes.
We want to
individual fake eyelashes, guys. Incredible. Will change your mood. Or an eyelash curler. Really simple but effective.
So scared of them. I do have one. Have you got an eyelash curler, Alison?
I've never needed one.
Oh, you've just got beautiful
curly lashes.
lashes.
I don't think I've ever curled your lashes.
I go close to my eye and then I freak out. Yeah.
No, I've never pinched anyone.
Oh, that's good.
In my makeup career, but I've seen it happen, and it looks painful. But yeah, there's so many. I never look at Facebook, but today I did, and so many of my friends were posting their lockdown things they've learned, and it was they're teaching themselves how to do makeup, or refreshing their styles. And it's there's so many YouTubers, there's so much places you can find good content to teach yourself how to, you know, revamp your makeup. So many different brands that will bring out, you know, a blog daily, really, or Instagram and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a great time to try different colors. You know, if you feel, and this is actually a big one I found when I doing my job, so many women, when I would go to put on like a bright red lipstick, they're like, I'm too embarrassed to leave the house looking like that. Like, I know I'm sure it looks good, but everyone's going to stare at me. And I'm like,
that's the reason we're doing this.
Yeah, like, well, everyone kind of stares anyway, like that, you know. But how does it make you feel? Yeah, I really love myself with it. So why aren't you going to go outside with it? So it's a good prep time, I guess, staying at home and getting yourself used to your makeup that you're putting on, maybe, and get yourself ready for hopefully when the world opens up again and we can go outside and wear it.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that you know, that's the old thing about saving things for a rainy day, or those sorts of things, you know, like, oh, I won't use that because I want to wear it, and you know, when my best dress, I'm going to keep that. And look, by the time you get to wear it, you've probably outgrown it. So, you know.
So many women would buy makeup when I worked on counters and be like, I won't ever use this unless it's a special event. And I'm like, no, use it every day.
Yeah.
Like, one, it will go off. And two, if it makes you feel like that, wear it every day. It's a special event every day. Why not? Why is it not? But that's how I perceive it. You know, my favorite colors that I love, I'm like, oh, I'm going to use you every day because it's just exciting. And
That is something to talk about, though. I think people get a big shock when they realise that mascara only lasts for a few months.
Chuck your mascara out. Like, if not, I would suggest 2 months, but they say 3 months, but even monthly sometimes, because it grows really gross bugs and bacteria and disgusting things. Yeah. A little tip for you guys is just buy sample size mascaras, because by the time you've used a full size actual mascara, it's still probably moldy in there. But you don't, until you've seen mold in makeup, which I have, you don't even realize it's there. But mold in makeup, I'll just tell you guys, it sometimes looks like crystals. So you think it looks pretty, but it's actually like it's mold.
Yeah. Well, like lipstick goes tacky. As soon as it goes tacky, it should get thrown out. And things like even your compact makeup as well, that gets bacteria because you're putting either the same brush or the same sponge on.
Yeah, wash your brushes too. That's important.
I'll share quickly with you, because you guys know that I'm allergic to everything that is on the planet. I'm very sensitive. I've never ever reacted to any of your makeup, which has been really wonderful. But I actually tried a new blush about 4 months ago, I think it was, and it was a mineral one. Yep. And I thought, it's ethical, natural. I made all the checks, and it all checked out quite nicely. And then I suddenly started to get numbness in my
really?
mouth
Okay.
and across my face, and it took me a good 2 weeks to figure out that it was only when I put my makeup in the morning, and this is the only thing that I was using that was different. So it was absorbing into my skin that fast.
It does, yeah.
And it was causing this neurological reaction in my face. And it was really quite it was a bit scary actually, because at the time I was thinking, is it food, me and food, but it was actually in the makeup itself. So I 100% agree that we need to keep our wits about us when we're using different products. And if you have allergic reactions to things as well, don't keep using them.
The amount of people that do that too. I know with because I'm a bit sensitive to makeup, so I've got to be really careful with certain mascaras and eyeshadows, and I'll know straight away because my eye will just blow up. Not great look when you're about to leave the house.
Like swell up?
Swell up and water and itch and all sorts.
Okay.
Yes. It does. Our face, it absorbs so fast by the time you're putting it on. It's in our blood. So it's scary sometimes when I look at the ingredients, and I wouldn't be able to list them off the top of my head right now, but I know when I look at the back and I'm like, oh no, not that one. I don't want that. But I've heard like big brands like Kylie Cosmetics at the moment. I think it's over like 100 reports of girls using an eyeshadow, and then they're getting a headache, like a ripping headache straight away over an eyeshadow. So it is, you think a powder product wouldn't be absorbing, but it does, and it's really fast, especially around our eye and our lip area. It's quite scary. Just
really good tips to get out there to people, just to be really, really careful about what they're using, and also 100% with you on the ethical side of things. Obviously, to find out as much as we can about that. I can't wait for you to bring out your own brand.
I know,
Amber.
I really want to. I think it would be like
it'd be
interesting. Time, because I shake my head, and I've emailed companies like, why are we not talking about this? Of course, I just don't get a response, but I'm like, why are we not talking about this?
Yeah, it is exciting though if you can make a difference through having your own product line.
Absolutely.
That would be very exciting.
Absolutely.
And so for people out there, so just take it easy, like start small. So like you said, it could be a tinted moisturizer, a little bit of mascara, some sparkly eyeshadow, and a bit of lip gloss. Yeah,
absolutely. There's one of my favorite brands, RMS. It's at Mecca. They're really that you could almost eat their products because it's so like clean. But go check out Mecca. They have lots of clean beauty, and that's a great place to start. Sometimes I do like glitter and stuff like that. Not everything I use is probably as clean as I want it to. One day hopefully I can get there, because I'm like, I really want to use that color, but I trial on myself so many times to make sure that there is no severe reactions, and then I also make sure I limit how much I use it. But it's quite frustrating. It would be great if brands were really looking into how much heavy metals are being absorbed into our skin, and how much it's really affecting our neurological system and stuff like that. But
No, definitely. Well, it's been amazing, and so great to talk to you about this. I've been wanting to do this for ages. And just as a final sort of message to everybody out there, just what would you say to someone who's feeling really down about themselves right now?
Well, I would say go look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you love yourself. And it might be really confronting. You might hate yourself in that instance. You might be like, oh my God, I can't do it. But keep going with it, because it's literally Yeah, it takes a lot of time to uncondition our mind from how much negativity we, consume or we put in our minds. So it's really like baby steps in learning how to love ourselves, and maybe put on a new red lipstick, a new purple lipstick, a new pink lipstick, or a new colourful eyeshadow, or buy a dress that you have looked at for a long time and thought, no, but just do it and buy it and just go rock it.
Or buy all of those things.
Yeah, or buy all of them and just add them all together and rock it. Because, I don't believe, and this is another thing I'll add on this, but people are like, but aren't you encouraging consumerism? And I'm like, well, we're all consuming a lot, this planet is, but we can still ethically do that. And I still think if you are going to buy a dress or a lipstick that's going to make you feel so beautiful, even though you have to consume, I think it's worth it. I really do think it's worth the, feeling beautiful from
conscious consumption.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
That's all
Amber.
right.
This has been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're such a beautiful girl inside and out, and
Thank
we
you.
love you lots. Thanks, Amber.
Thanks for listening to the Divine Style Podcast. Please follow, share, and tune in weekly for more spiritual and self-love guidance. You can find out more and ask questions at gerlinda.com.au and alisonmaiden.com.